At the start of the drama, we see the female lead, Jing Jixia, who is the CEO of her hotel. And she was going somewhere out of the hotel when her cousin, Jianbu Fan, comes and stops her and tells her, "You have to attend a VIP guest who is about to arrive, so you can't go anywhere right now." To this, Jing Jixia says, "Have we run out of staff in our hotel that I have to attend to the guests?" But Jian Bufan repeatedly asks her to stay there. Just then, Jing Jixia's uncle arrives, who was Jian Bufan's dad. The uncle also persuades Jing Jixia to stay at the hotel, but Jing Jixia prepares him to welcome the guest and leaves from there. She was leaving in her car when we see the male lead, Fu Zei, who had come to this hotel with a girl. But Jing Jixia is completely shocked to see him with that girl and follows him into the hotel. Then, we are shown a flashback scene where Fu Zei had approached Jing Jixia a year ago using his fake name, Lin. And they were in a relationship for some time, but then Lin suddenly disappeared. And when he left, he had left some money for Jing Jixia, which hurt her even more. Because she loved him, she was not with him for the money. Then in the present, we see that Jing Jixia takes the MasterCard for Fu Zei's room and goes towards his room. And when she knocks on his door, Aishin opens the door. Jing Jixia comes inside the room without saying anything and asks Aishin, "Where is that man who came with you just now?" To this, Aishin replies, "Fu Zei is taking a shower right now." Jing Jixia is quite shocked to hear this name and says, "He has made up a fake name again." Then she asks Aishin, "Are you his girlfriend or his wife?" Aishin explains, "He is still single, and I am his lawyer, so if you want to talk about anything related to him, you can talk to me." Just then, Fu Zei comes out of the washroom and says, "Who has entered my room? Don't you people care about the guest's privacy at all?" Saying this, he ignores Jing Jixia and walks away as if he doesn't know her. This seems very strange to Jing Jixia, and she asks him, "Don't you remember me?" He says, "No, I don't know you. Have we met before?" But Jing Jixia is unable to tell him anything. Then, Aishin tells Jing Jixia, "This is the CEO of the Fu Group company. Perhaps you have had some misunderstanding." Jing Jixia couldn't believe any of this. Just then, Jing Jixia's uncle also arrives and welcomes Fu Zei to his hotel. Just then, Fu Zei gives them shocking news. His company had filed an allegation of copyright infringement on Jing Jixia's hotel, where we find out that Jing Jixia's uncle had bought duplicate furniture from Fu Zei's company in an attempt to buy cheap furniture. Now the uncle was very worried about this, but Jing Jixia was still lost in her own thoughts, where we are shown a scene from a year ago when Jing Jixia was abroad and she met Fu Zi, and then he had told her his name was Lin. He was a music director. Jing Jixia had started to like him a lot, because Lin was very gentle and spoke very nicely. Remembering all this, Jing Jixia thinks, how did this caring and gentle person from a year ago become such a rude and arrogant Mr. Fu Zei a year later? Then she thinks, now I will not think about this. And she comes to her uncle's problem, where Jing Jixia does not have enough money to pay Fu Zei, so that she could get the allegations against her hotel removed. Jing Jixia decides that she will sell some of her shares, but Jian Bufan overhears her talking about selling her shares and talks about it. Then he also tells her, I have found out that Fu Zei is the same boy who cheated on you a year ago. Jing Jixia is very shocked by this and says, how did you find this out? And then she sends Jian Bufan out of her room and sits in her room and starts crying because she had really missed Lin a lot for a year. Then we see that Fu Zei has come here for some plan of his, and now his eyes are on the land of Jing Jixia's hotel. Then we see a scene from a bar where Jing Jixia is drinking a lot, and Fu Zei is watching her there. There, two people are talking to each other. He will mix a sedative in Jing Jixia's drink, and then take her with him. Fu Zei also hears their conversation, when those two come to Jing Jixia and give her a drink with a sedative mixed in her drink to drink. Jing Jixia is about to drink it, but just then, Fu Zei goes and stops her, and he drinks that drink himself. Then, he starts taking Jing Jixia away from there, but those people don't let him go from there. And by then, Fu Zei's head starts spinning because there was a sedative in that drink, due to which he was not even able to stand properly. But still, to take Jing Jixia away from there safely, he breaks a glass bottle and scares those people with it and takes Jing Jixia with him from there. Fu Zei carries her to the hotel room. After laying her on the bed, he's about to leave when he himself falls on that bed due to intoxication. After some time, when Jing Jixia regains consciousness, she is shocked to see Fu Zei on her bed and starts asking him, why did he bring her to the hotel? She tries to wake Fu Zei up, but he was very drunk, so he doesn't get up. She's about to leave from there when she sees that there was blood on her hands and clothes, but she was not injured at all. But then she looks at Fu Zei, and he had an injury on his hand. and this blood was his. Jing Jixia remembers that Fu Zai got this injury because of saving her, so she orders first aid from the hotel and starts bandaging him and is looking at him very intently. Then she goes out of the hotel room, and when she comes back, she sees that Fu Zai is taking off his clothes. Jing Jixia comes and stops him but is quite impressed after seeing his body. Fu Zai pulls her close and is about to kiss her, but just then he faints again. To this, Jing Jixia says, "You saved me. That's why I'm taking care of you. Otherwise, I wouldn't let you do anything like this." Now, the next morning when Fu Zai opens his eyes, he is very shocked to see Jing Jixia next to him. He somehow gets up from beside her and goes to his office. There too, he is repeatedly thinking about Jing Jixia. Here, when Jing Jixia opens her eyes, Fu Zai is not there, but she finds his card there, seeing which she gets very angry again, because he had done the same thing a year ago. She calls Fu Zai and asks him about this, so he says, "This is compensation for you." Jing Jixia tells him, "Nothing like that happened between us at night, and you are doing the same thing again as you did a year ago." To this he says, "If nothing happened between us, then it's fine." Saying this, he cuts the call. Then Jing Jixia comes to the hotel, and her uncle tells her they won't have to pay Fu Zai anything, because upon checking his background, they found out a secret of his. That secret was that Fu Zai had disappeared for 3 months last year, between August and October. The uncle starts thinking about this, but they still didn't have any idea that would save them from paying compensation to Fu Zai. After this, we find out that during these 3 months, Fu Zai met Jing Jixia as Lin, and they were also in a relationship. Jing Jixia was a little tense about this, and when Jian Bufan finds out about this, seeing his sister's tension, he goes to hit Fu Zai. As he is about to punch him, the lawyer Aishin stops him. When Jian Bufan turns around, he is shocked to see Aishin because Aishin was Jian Bufan's first love. Where we are shown a flashback scene when Jian Bufan was in high school and Aishin had graduated. He proposes to Aishin, but she refuses him by saying, "I don't date younger boys. When he becomes 180 centimeters tall, then I will think something about him." And now, in the present, as soon as Jian Bufan sees Aishin, he directly tells her, "I am now 185 centimeters tall." But Aishin couldn't even recognize him and asks, "Who are you?" Jian Bufan gets a little disappointed by this and says sorry to her and leaves. After this, both brother and sister sit down to drink and tell each other their stories. Jing Jixia was quite depressed. She says to Jian Bufan, "How can he forget me so soon?" Jian Bufan says, "Maybe he had an accident in which he lost his memory." She also agrees with this, and then reaches Fu Zai's room. Fu Zai asks her, "Did you come to my room by mistake?" So Jing Jixia says, "No, this time I came intentionally." And she takes out a lot of money from her purse and throws it on him and says, "I have money too. So don't show me an attitude about money," and says, "Everything is over between us. Then why are you still pretending not to recognize me? No one is watching us right now, so can you tell me if you have some memory loss disease? Or did you have an accident somewhere in which you lost your memory?" And then she tells him, "You must have insomnia. It happens in a lot of dramas." And to bring back his memories, she starts getting close to him and then slaps him and then asks, "Do you remember anything about me now?" After this, she starts hitting him continuously, and Fu Zai was recording all this. But Jing Jixia didn't know about this. After continuously beating Fu Zai, she faints and falls there due to intoxication. And when she regains consciousness, she finds herself in the police station, where the officer tells her that Fu Zai has filed a case against her. Jing Jixia says, "I am completely innocent. I didn't touch Fu Zai at all." But Fu Zai shows the officer that recording, in which Jing Jixia was beating him. After this, she starts making excuses that she had just hit Fu Zai lightly, it can't cause so much injury, and they both start fighting right there over this. The officer asks them both to stay calm and seats them separately. But they both are still fighting, and seeing them fighting like this, the officer thinks that they are a couple. And so he starts explaining to them, such quarrels happen between couples. It doesn't mean that you two should file a case against each other. And he starts giving a very long lecture to Fu Zai. And to avoid his lecture, Fu Zai says, "Yes, okay, be quiet. Now I won't file a case. But in return, Jing Jixia will have to say in a video, I will not fight with him at all." But Jing Jixia is not agreeing to this. So the officer starts lecturing her too, and to avoid his lecture, she also agrees to this, and also gets her video recorded. After this, they both come out of the police station. After coming out, Fu Zai tells her, "If you ever misbehave with me again, I will make this video of yours viral," where he also removes the bandage tied on his head, because he was not that injured and he was just acting. Seeing which Jing Jixia is quite shocked, and he leaves from there. The next morning when Fu Zai goes to the office, Aishin tells him that Jing Jixia wants to meet him personally. Then, after a while, Jing Jixia comes to meet Fu Zai and says thank you to him, and says, "Today I will not take offense to anything you say." Fu Zai couldn't understand her good behavior at all, Just then he gets a call from which he finds out that, at his behest, the compensation that was to be given to Jing Jixia's hotel has been cancelled. Now Fuzei doesn't understand anything. He checks some messages on his phone, in which Fuzei himself had messaged Jing Jixia, "I am waiving your compensation." Just then, he remembers some flashes of the night where he was very happy, and he had sent these messages to Jing Jixia. Then he immediately runs to his house and checks the CCTV footage of his room, from which he finds out that last night he was awake, then he was not Fuzei, but had become Lin. Now here we find out that Fuzei has a dual personality disorder, and Lin is his other personality. But Fuzei couldn't understand how Lin came back after so many days, because Lin had gone from inside him a long time ago. Then we are shown a flashback of a year ago, when he had left Jing Jixia. Then he had become Fuzei, not Lin. And here, we get to know another thing about Fuzei, that in the two personalities within him, when Fuzei sleeps, Lin comes, and when Lin sleeps, Fuzei comes. And there was a deal between them that they would live one day at a time, but when Lin met Jing Jixia, he did not want to be away from her. That's why he had not slept for 5 days. But one day he fell asleep, and when he woke up, he had become Fuzei. And because of this, Fuzei gets very angry with Lin, and he decides that he will now finish Lin. And to eliminate Lin's personality from within him, he called a specialist friend of his, and he was missing for 3 months to get his treatment. Now Fuzei calls the same friend and tells him that his Lin personality has come back again, and it has probably come back because of Jing Jixia. So they will have to make a new plan to finish Lin. Lin had waived Jing Jixia's compensation, which made her very happy. And she was taking very good care of Fuzei. But Fuzei tells her, "I haven't waived your compensation, it was just a prank." And then he tears up the compensation cancellation agreement in front of her. Now, Jing Jixia gets angry at this and leaves from there. And to get rid of Fuzei, she decides to sell some of her shares. And she is talking to someone on the phone about this, but her uncle overhears her, and he explains to her, "You should not sell your shares." But Jing Jixia hides some of her shares from them and sells them to the man who was involved in the plan with Fuzei. After selling the shares, Jing Jixia was very happy because now she would not have to manage the hotel, and she would go somewhere for a long vacation. She hands over all the responsibilities of the hotel to her uncle and decides to go abroad for a long vacation. But she was doing all this just to get rid of Fuzei, because if she stays around him, she won't be able to forget Lin. The man who had bought the shares from Jing Jixia gives those shares to Fuzei. Fuzei had also bought the shares of the other shareholders, and now he had all the shares. Just then Aishin tells him, Jing Jixia has resigned and she is leaving from here. Then at night we see Fuzei, who is saying to the Lin inside him, "What do you think? You can stop my plan?" That too with just one message? But I won't let that happen because now Jing Jixia's hotel is also mine. Saying all this, he goes to sleep. And after some time, he starts seeing scenes of him and Jing Jixia again. In the next scene, we see Fuzei's car having an accident. His car was about to fall into a ditch, but a man helps him and saves him. Now here we find out that after Fuzei slept, Lin had come back, and to finish Fuzei, he was driving the car into the ditch. After some time, the police arrive there and drop Fuzei at his house. Now he understood that Lin is doing all this for Jing Jixia, so Fuzei decides that he will keep Jing Jixia with him for Lin, so that whenever Lin comes out, he will see Jing Jixia with him and will not think of killing himself. Then we see Jing Jixia, who packs her things and leaves for the airport. Fuzei was calling her and asking her to stop, but she does not listen to him. After some time, Fuzei reaches the airplane with his car, and he opens the trunk of his car from which many balloons come out and start flying. Everyone starts looking at those balloons on which it was written, "Jing Jixia, please stop." Jing Jixia is very happy to see all this. Just then, Fuzei comes inside the plane and takes out a ring and proposes to her. Everyone starts clapping for them. Just then, the air hostess wakes Jing Jixia up because she was seeing all this in a dream. Just then, Fuzei comes on that plane with a file. Jing Jixia starts blushing seeing him because she thought that her dream was perhaps about to come true. Just then, Fuzei gives a file to her and says, "You cannot go." In the next scene, we see both of them in the car, where Fuzei tells her, "According to this contract, you cannot go anywhere from here for a month, because you have to work for me for 30 days now." Jing Jixia says, "I have not signed any contract." To this he says, "Your uncle has signed on your behalf, because I am giving your hotel some time to pay the compensation, and in return, you will have to work for me for 30 days. The next day when Jing Jixia comes to work at the hotel, Jian Bufan tells her, "Fuzei won't stop you here for no reason. He must have a crush on you. That's why he has stopped you here." Jing Jixia works all day and is about to leave from there, but then Fuzei comes and gives her another task which takes her quite late into the night, and Fuzei was keeping an eye on her. But when he doesn't see Jing Jixia, he comes out to check, where he sees that Jing Jixia had fallen asleep on the floor while working. Fuzei comes closer and puts his blazer on her and puts some files under her head. But Jing Jixia holds his hand and sleeps with it under her head. That's why Fuzei also lies down there. In the morning, Fuzei wakes up early and goes to his office from there. When Jing Jixia wakes up, Aishin tells her that she has to go to pick up Fuzei. Jing Jixia gets very angry at this, that he left her alone here, and she drives her car in a very angry mood to him, and she hits the brakes right next to him, which makes him a little scared. Then he moves her from the driver's seat and drives himself and takes her to his house. Jing Jixia refuses to go inside, but Fuzei says, "You have to go inside because there is some work for you there." Then she comes inside with Fuzei, where he asks her to clean the table. Jing Jixia does not agree to this and says, "I am the owner of such a big hotel and I am very rich. I don't need to do all this work." But Fuzei blackmails her by saying, "You know what will happen if the news of your hotel using duplicate furniture comes out." At this, Jing Jixia starts cleaning the table. After this, Fuzei goes to a meeting with his dad and uncle. After some time, he comes back to Jing Jixia, and she asks him, "Is your meeting over? And can we go back from here now?" Fuzei says, "Your work is not finished yet. You will have to clean it until I like it." Hearing this, Jing Jixia gets very angry at him, and she is about to pick up a ball and hit him when Fuzei's uncle comes into that room and she stops. The uncle had come to talk to Fuzei about something. He mistakes Jing Jixia for his servant and asks her to bring a glass of water. Jing Jixia goes to get water, but she misunderstands and thinks Fuzei's uncle is his client. And thinking this, she thinks, "If I annoy the client, then Fuzei will surely fire me from the job." So Jing Jixia comes back to them with water and some biscuits. Sometimes she bumps into the uncle, sometimes she comes between them to disturb them, and sometimes she forcibly starts feeding them biscuits. After this, she starts pouring hot water on them, which annoys them, and they drop the water jar from Jing Jixia's hand, due to which the jar breaks. Just then, Fuzei quickly comes to Jing Jixia and asks her, "Are you hurt?" because the water was quite hot. He picks Jing Jixia up in his arms and shouts at his uncle and goes out of there. Coming out, Fuzei again asks her if she was hurt a lot. Jing Jixia says, "No, just a few splashes of hot water fell." He understands that whatever Jing Jixia did inside, she did it all intentionally. Jing Jixia smilingly says sorry to him that her important client left because of her, but he clears her misunderstanding and tells her, "He is not my client, he is my uncle." After this, he gives Jing Jixia a day's leave. This makes her very happy, and the next day, getting ready, she is going out somewhere to enjoy her holiday when Fuzei comes to her and tells her that he is also free today, so he will also go with her. But Jing Jixia does not agree to this, but he forcibly asks her to go with him. So Jing Jixia puts a condition before him. He will bear all her expenses for today. He agrees to this first. They go shopping where Jing Jixia likes a purse, but someone else had already taken it. After this, they both go to a restaurant, where Jing Jixia, to get rid of Fuzei, announces to pay the bill of all the people who have come there. But Fuzei is not affected by this, and he asks her, "Where do you want to go after this?" Then Jing Jixia was going towards the washroom when a man falls there. She runs to him. The man had a heart attack, so Jing Jixia gives him CPR, and while doing so, she was very nervous and very emotional. After this, the man becomes normal. Then Fuzei asks Jing Jixia, "Why are you so nervous?" She tells him, "My dad also died due to a heart attack when he was working in the hotel. If someone had helped him at that time, maybe he would be alive today." Jing Jixia also tells him, "I also have a heart problem, but when I listen to Lin's music, I would become normal." She again asks Fuzei, "Don't you remember anything about me?" Just then, Jing Jixia starts having the same heart problem again, and she starts looking for her mobile because it had Lin's music. But in that rush, Jing Jixia's phone had fallen somewhere. Just then, Fuzei's eyes fall on a piano. He goes and starts playing the piano, which was Lin's music, hearing which Jing Jixia becomes normal again. And she asks Fuzei, "You said that you don't remember anything. Then how do you remember the music composed by Lin?" But he does not give any answer to her question. And then they both leave for the hotel from there, where Jing Jixia looked very happy on the way, and again asks, "You remember everything, right?" Fuzei says, "I have learned this music." But Jing Jixia thinks that he is acting alright. After this, he drops Jing Jixia at her house, and then talks to his specialist friend. His friend tells him he's also coming back to China to check on him. Now the next day, Jing Jixia gets a call from Fuzei's uncle, where he calls her to meet him. And when Jing Jixia goes to meet him, the uncle talks about buying her remaining shares. But she refuses because she had sentimental values attached to the hotel. To this, the uncle asks her, "Then why did you sell your shares to Fuzei?" Jing Jixia doesn't understand anything. The uncle tells her, Fuzei wants to acquire the land of your hotel. That's why he has fraudulently bought some of your shares. Now, before leaving from there, Jing Jixia tells the uncle that she will not let anyone touch her hotel. She goes to Fuzei. She was very angry and tells him, "I will never let your plan succeed, and I will also save my hotel." Fuzei arranges a meeting where he says, "I have the most shares in the hotel, and I have a business district plan for which the hotel will have to be demolished because the hotel was not making much profit." No other shareholder had any objection to this except for Jing Jixia and her uncle, but they both also didn't have many shares, so they couldn't do anything about it. But then Jing Jixia makes a plan to save her hotel. She asks Fuzei to come to an underground cellar of the hotel. When Fuzei arrives there, she comes in front of him wearing a blanket. He asks her, "Why are you shivering so much?" Jing Jixia replies, "You will also find out about it in a little while." Fuzei asks her, "Why did you call me here?" Jing Jixia tells him, "I have to discuss something with you about my hotel." To this, Fuzei starts to leave, saying that everything has been decided in the meeting, but he cannot open the door because it was locked from the outside. Just then, Jing Jixia takes out an agreement and tells him, "If you sign this agreement, only then will you be able to get out of this place." To this, Fuzei turns on his recorder and asks Jing Jixia about that agreement. She tells him, if he stops the demolition of the hotel, only then can he leave this place. Fuzei says, "What will you do if I don't sign this agreement?" Jing Jixia says, "Then nothing will happen. We will both die of cold in this very place." Fuzei signs the agreement and Jing Jixia asks Jian Bufan to open the door and also gives him that agreement. Just then, Fuzei tells her, "This agreement of yours is not going to be valid because you made me sign it by threatening me, and I have proof of it." After which he shows her the recorder. Jing Jixia gets very angry at this, and after giving the agreement to Jian Bufan, she gets the door locked from the outside again, and she starts to take the recorder from him, but Fuzei doesn't give it to her, so Jing Jixia says, "Fine, let's see who can bear this cold for how long." Just then, a bottle painting breaks. Jing Jixia runs towards it, and she was about to fall on the glass when Fuzei saves her. But Fuzei gets hurt in his hand, so Jing Jixia asks Jian Bufan to open the door. But Jian Bufan had left from there with Aishin. Aishin asks him about Jing Jixia, and he lies, "I was just sitting here playing a game." Here, Jing Jixia bandages Fuzei with his tie and shares her blanket with him. Fuzei asks her about her bottle paintings. Jing Jixia tells him those paintings are of all the employees working in her hotel, and they are all like a family to Jing Jixia. Fuzei falls asleep while talking, so Jing Jixia also makes his portrait in a bottle and asks him to become a part of her family too. To this, he asks, "Is it that easy to become a part of your family?" Jing Jixia says, "Yes, you should try. Anyway, you are a very important member of this hotel," and requests him not to demolish the hotel, to which he says that he will think about it. After this, Jian Bufan and Aishin also arrive there, and they both come out of the underground. After this, it is shown that Fuzei is telling Aishin, "Make a plan to follow the plan without demolishing the hotel because the hotel is going to be in their business district, so let that hotel remain." And he had done all this only for Jing Jixia because somewhere he has started liking her too. Now Jing Jixia's uncle tells her, now their hotel is completely safe, and now no one will demolish this hotel. Then they come out where Jian Bufan tells Jing Jixia, some experts have found some rare plants in the areas near their hotel, which means that now their hotel will not be demolished. Jing Jixia asks Jian Bufan, how did the experts find out about those rare plants? Jian Bufan tells her there was some unknown person who gave information about these plants to the experts, and because of him, their hotel is safe today. After this, Fuzei finds out that Lin did all this. Lin had told the conservation experts about those plants, and Fuzei found out about this from his phone, because he had received a message for Lin from the experts on his phone. Jing Jixia still couldn't believe that he would so easily leave her hotel to complete his project. The next day, an idol named Yuxi comes to Jing Jixia's hotel, so there is a huge crowd there. Just then, Jing Jixia's uncle tells her that idol is not liking any room in their hotel, and if he doesn't like any room, he will give bad reviews about the hotel, which will ruin our hotel. Now Jing Jixia goes to serve that idol. She shows him all the rooms in the hotel, but the idol does not like any room. After this, Jing Jixia decides to give him the best room in the hotel, where Fuzei is currently staying. She goes to Fuzei and asks him to shift to another room for now, for which he easily agrees. After this, we find out that Yuxi was troubling Jing Jixia because his elder brother was marrying Jing Jixia's mom, and he did not want his brother to marry her. And that's why when Jing Jixia brings him to Fu Zei's room, he starts finding faults there too, and says, "This room is very dirty." Jing Jixia says, "I will call the cleaner and get this room cleaned." But he says, keeping his privacy in mind, he will not let anyone else come into his room, so Jing Jixia herself will have to clean the room. So Jing Jixia reluctantly starts cleaning that room. Just then, Fu Zei comes to that room to get some of his files and feels bad seeing Jing Jixia cleaning. He asks her not to do this work. So Jing Jixia says, "It is my job to give good service to my guest." After cleaning, she comes back to her cabin and tells Jian Bufan, "No one has ever troubled me as much as this Yuxi has. What have I done to him after all?" Jian Bufan says, "I think he is doing all this intentionally." Then he also shows Jing Jixia a post of that idol Yuxi, in which he had posted a photo of Jing Jixia and written, "The cleaners of this hotel are very amazing." Seeing this, Jing Jixia gets very angry, but the comments below that post were very good. And in a short time, their hotel's booking becomes full. After this, Yuxi calls Jing Jixia and says, because of her, his hotel's business is going very well. So Jing Jixia will have to give him a treat. She also agrees to this, and she takes him to a restaurant to give him a treat, where Fu Zei also sees both of them together. And he was getting very angry and also jealous, seeing Jing Jixia with that Yuxi. Just then, some reporters arrive there, seeing whom Yuxi starts trying to get close to Jing Jixia. And seeing this, Fu Zei gets very angry. Just then, he sees that the reporters are about to click pictures of them both. Seeing this, Fu Zei quickly goes and covers Jing Jixia and asks her to go with him. But Jing Jixia refuses to go with him, so Fu Zei says, "You can go with him, then why not with me?" Just then the elevator door opens and both of them go inside the elevator. And in the meantime, Fu Zei accidentally kisses Jing Jixia on the forehead. Fu Zei's dad is also in that elevator, who sees both of them like this. Then dad scolds both of them, and also forbids him from coming to the company. Now the next day, Jing Jixia is thinking about Fu Zei when Aishin comes to her with a gift that Fu Zei had sent for her, in which was the purse that Jing Jixia had liked. After this, Fu Zei goes to meet his specialist friend, where he tells him that until Fu Zei observes Lin, he will not come out. He can be cured by a therapy, but his chances of getting cured are only 50%, and he is also in danger of his life. That's why his friend forbids him from trying this therapy. And while talking, they both start talking about dating. Just then, the friend asks him, "Are you dating some girl? Is she the same girl who was looking for you a year ago when you were Lin? But that girl likes Lin. What do you think? Will you be able to win her heart?" To this, Fu Zei says, "What do you think I will lose to Lin? Just watch. I will bring good news for you soon." The next day, Fu Zei gives Jing Jixia a ticket to a music festival hidden in a file and invites her to go on a date with him. To this, Jing Jixia says, "I had a crush on you a year ago, and after meeting you again, I understand that our relationship also ended a year ago." At this, he gets a little upset and leaves from there, and is thinking about Jing Jixia's words. After this, Fu Zei starts seeing Lin everywhere, who was teasing him that Jing Jixia only likes Lin, not Fu Zei. Hearing this, Fu Zei gets very angry. He then goes to meet his friend and tells him his problem. To this, the friend says that he has got love sickness and he is considering Lin as his rival, and that's why he is seeing Lin again and again. The next day in the office, Fu Zei hears Jian Bufan talking to Jing Jixia, from which he finds out that Jing Jixia has gone to buy a wedding dress with someone. Hearing this, he gets lost in thought about why Jing Jixia has gone to buy a wedding dress. And just then he starts seeing Lin again, who is telling him, "Jing Jixia doesn't think about you at all. That's why she has gone to buy a wedding dress with someone else." Hearing this, Fu Zei gets very angry, and he leaves his meeting and goes out to find Jing Jixia, where he also finds Jing Jixia, who was trying on a wedding dress. But there, he finds out that Jing Jixia has come here to select a wedding dress for her mom, because her mom is going to get married a second time. Then, he brings Jing Jixia out of there with him and tells her, "A year ago, I had lost my memories, but now I really love Jing Jixia." But Jing Jixia says, "I don't believe your words at all." She is about to say something more, but just then, Fu Zei kisses her on the lips, and then says, "I am not who I was before, and now you have to accept me as I am." Just then, his head starts hurting, so Jing Jixia goes to get water for him. When she comes back, she sees that Fu Zei is playing the piano for her. Jing Jixia goes to him and hugs him and asks him if he is okay or not. He says, "I am absolutely fine." Just then, a police officer comes there and calls Jing Jixia to talk to him. And he tells Jing Jixia about Fu Zei's accident that they had once seen Fu Zei trying to commit suicide. After this, we see Fuzei, who had become Lin, and Fuzei was repeatedly trying to ask Lin what he wanted to do with Jing Zixia. Just then, Jing Zixia comes to him and asks him about that car accident. Lin lies to her, I was going to find you, but the speed was a bit fast, so I accidentally had an accident. Then, Jing Zixia goes out and starts waiting for him. Then Fuzei tells Lin, give my body back to me. To this, Lin says, I want to see what you have done with my personality in this 1 year. Fuzei tells him, Jing Zixia has started to like me now. To this, Lin says, now I have come. So now she will not be yours, because she only loves me. They talk for a long time, in which Lin tells Fuzei his love story, and with full attitude, he tells him, everything between you and Jing Zixia is over, and always remember this, you are just my substitute. The next day, Lin brings Jing Zixia to his house, where Jing Zixia sets her fingerprint in his house, so that she can come to his house anytime. After Jing Zixia leaves, they both start their debate again, where they finally decide that they will both compete to win Jing Zixia's heart. Whoever gets the key to her house first will win, and whoever loses will have to back off. Then, Lin goes to sleep and Fuzei wakes up from a bad dream in which he is seeing a child's accident. He doesn't understand how Lin suddenly came back. To talk about this, he comes to his friend, who tells him, you had a brother Jilin, who died in childhood, and it is possible that your Lin personality is his brother's. You missed your brother a lot after his death, so it is possible that after his death, his personality came inside you. Then he asks Fuzei, do you really want to switch alternate days with Lin? Fuzei tells him, I have some unfinished business with Lin, so I have to do this. The next day was Lin's turn, but when he goes to Fuzei's office, he gets scared seeing his tight schedule and asks Aishin, don't I have any personal time here? He asks Aishin to make some adjustments. Just then he gets a call from Jing Zixia. She tells him that she is not feeling well, so she can't come to the office today. Hearing this, Lin runs to her house, and to check her temperature, he kisses her. To this, Jing Zixia says, who checks temperature like this? Then he stays at her house to take care of Jing Zixia, and he also makes dinner near her. Jing Zixia couldn't believe that Fuzei was doing all this for her, but she didn't know that he was Lin. Not Fuzei, Lin had made very tasty food for her, which made Jing Zixia very happy. Then Lin asks her for the key to her house, so that he can come to take care of her anytime. But Jing Zixia says, whenever he comes, she will open the door. Then, at night, Jing Zixia is thinking why Fuzei is behaving like the Lin from a year ago. Here Lin sleeps with the cat next to him. In the morning when Fuzei wakes up, he gets scared seeing that cat, because now he was Fuzei who is scared of cats. He starts screaming in fear. Just then Jing Zixia hears his voice and comes there and asks him, yesterday you liked the cat? Then why are you afraid of it today? Fuzei asks, what else did I do yesterday? Jing Zixia tells him, yesterday you cooked very tasty food for me and today I want to eat the same food again. Fuzei says, that food is not nutritious for you at all. You should take medicine. Jing Zixia gets irritated by this and leaves from there. But after a while, Fuzei brings soup for her. When Jing Zixia tastes it, it was very bad. She tells him, today you made a small mistake, but yesterday you cooked very good food. After this, Fuzei holds his meeting in her house to take care of her and starts his work there. But just then, a man comes there to interview for a job, whom Fuzei's uncle had sent to keep an eye on him. But Fuzei gives him the job of cooking and sends him to the kitchen. They have their meeting, and after the food is cooked, Fuzei tells Aishin to deliver the food to Jing Zixia's room. When Aishin comes to her room with the food, Jing Zixia asks her, did Fuzei cook this food for me? Aishin tells her, Fuzei doesn't even know how to cook, and he has never even been to the kitchen. Hearing this, Jing Zixia gets lost in thought, because yesterday Fuzei had cooked very good food for her. After this, she comes to Fuzei and asks him, is your work finished now? Just then, Fuzei comes to her to check her temperature, so Jing Zixia moves away from him and puts her hand on her lips, because yesterday Lin had kissed her to check her temperature. He says, I am just checking your temperature. To this, Jing Zixia says, I thought you would suddenly kiss me like yesterday. He asks, did I kiss you yesterday? Jing Zixia says, yes, you were the one who said, checking with the lips gives a clear temperature. Hearing this, Fuzei gets angry with Lin and also gets jealous. Then he tells Jing Zixia, I will show you what to do to check the temperature very clearly. Then he kisses Jing Zixia and says, now remember this, I kissed you and this was much better. Jing Zixia says, what kind of strange things you are saying? After this, he tries to ask Jing Zixia for the key to her house, but she refuses. Fuzei asks, would you give the key to the me of yesterday or today? Jing Zixia says, what are you talking about? The me of yesterday, the me of today, I refused to give you the key yesterday, and I am refusing today too. Hearing this, he becomes a little happy that Jing Jixia did not give the key to Lin yesterday either. Then he tells her, "Don't meet me tomorrow, don't call me, and don't receive my call. But I will definitely come to meet you the day after tomorrow." Jing Jixia asks for the reason, and he says, "I have to go to the doctor tomorrow, and the doctor has asked me to stay alone for the whole day tomorrow." Jing Jixia says yes to this, but she doesn't understand anything. Now the next day, she was not picking up Fu Zhe's call. Jian Bufan asks for the reason for not picking up his call. So Jing Jixia tells him everything that Fu Zhe had said to her yesterday. Just then, Lin comes to her and asks her, "Why aren't you picking up my call?" Jing Jixia says, "You were the one who asked me not to yesterday, because you had to go to the doctor." Hearing this, Lin gets very angry with Fu Zhe and tells Jing Jixia, "The doctor's schedule was fixed, so they asked me to come tomorrow. So now you don't meet me tomorrow. Don't answer my call either." Then Lin, to impress Jing Jixia, takes her to eat her favorite hot pot, and when Fu Zhe finds out about this, he takes Jing Jixia to eat hot pot at an even better place. In the process of impressing Jing Jixia, they both take her to eat hot pot every day. But after eating hot pot every day, she gets very irritated, and her weight had also increased. Now Fu Zhe and Lin start competing to see who can make Jing Jixia lose more weight. And they both together make Jing Jixia do a lot of exercise, which makes her very upset, and both of them keep asking her for the key to her house. But Jing Jixia was very upset with both of them. That's why she refuses to give the key. Frustrated with both of them, Jing Jixia goes to a psychiatrist for help and tells them her problem. "Sometimes I like him very much, and sometimes he becomes very demanding, so much so that he doesn't even let me breathe peacefully. Sometimes I feel like I will strangle him and kill him." Jing Jixia asks the psychiatrist, "Am I mentally ill or do I have different feelings for him?" The psychiatrist also doesn't understand anything and says, "You should talk to your friend about this." The next day is Lin's turn, and Aishin tells him that today he had a very important meeting with a client, but Lin didn't know anything about the meeting or that client, and he hadn't made any preparations to meet the client. But still, he goes to meet that client. That client asks him, "What will be my benefit from doing this deal?" Now Lin had no idea what to answer him. Just then, Jing Jixia comes there with the box that Fu Zhe had given him, and with that, the client agrees to the deal. Then everyone celebrates the success of the deal. But Jing Jixia starts feeling sick, and she goes there alone. After some time, Lin finds Jing Jixia's bracelet, seeing which his Fu Zhe personality comes out. And he remembers that this bracelet was Jing Jixia's. As soon as he sees her and comes after Jing Jixia, he sees that Jing Jixia was lying unconscious on the ground, and blood was also coming out of her head. He immediately takes her to the hospital, where after some treatment, the doctor tells Fu Zhe Jing Jixia is fine now. She had fainted due to a head injury. Then Lin apologizes to Fu Zhe for sending Jing Jixia home alone. Fu Zhe tells him, "I can forgive you for other things, but if anything happens to Jing Jixia, I will not forgive you." After this, he calls his specialist friend and calls him for a meeting. Fu Zhe tells him, "I will need some more time for my treatment, but I can't give more time. Because of what happened today, I was very angry with Lin. That's why I need you to arrange for treatment soon." But now, Jing Jixia had started to doubt Fu Zhe that he was definitely hiding something from her. After being discharged from the hospital, Fu Zhe was going to drop Jing Jixia at her home. He tries to kiss her, but then he thinks that Lin might come out again by kissing. So he doesn't kiss her, and he tells her to take care of herself and leaves from there. This makes Jing Jixia even more suspicious that he is definitely hiding something related to memory loss. And to find out about this, she thinks of going to Fu Zhe's house. Then she goes to his house and tries to find out about him on some pretext or the other, where she searches his room. Just then she finds his schedule for the next few days in his laptop, in which he had an appointment with the doctor. She's about to take a photo of his schedule when Fu Zhe comes back. Jing Jixia makes an excuse that she was looking for a charger here. Fu Zhe tells her, "It's very late now, let me drop you home." But Jing Jixia makes an excuse to stay there, and she pretends to have a sprain in her leg and stays there. So Fu Zhe also starts taking care of her. Jing Jixia thinks of an excuse to stay there all night and starts getting close to him. Fu Zhe gets very nervous and moving away from her says, "There is no need to do anything right now." Jing Jixia says, "We should try something that is for two people, because we are both alone here." Hearing this, Fu Zhe gets even more nervous. But just then, Jing Jixia sits down to play cards, and she gives Fu Zhe a dare and sends him out and takes pictures of his schedule. Fu Zhe comes back and asks her, "If I make any mistake in the future, will you forgive me?" Jing Jixia gives him a card and says, "As long as you have this, I will forgive all your mistakes." Then Fu Zhe kisses her on the forehead. After this, he is about to kiss her on the lips but stops thinking about something. But Jing Jixia holds him and kisses him on the lips. And then they both spend this night together. The next morning, Jing Jixia finds finds a note from Fu Zei on which it was written that he is going to an urgent meeting, but after seeing his schedule, Jing Jixia knew that he had gone to meet the doctor. So she calls Jian Bufan for her help, and they both also go to the doctor to follow Fu Zei, where they start listening to Fu Zei and the doctor's conversation. The doctor was telling Fu Zei only one of them will survive. Outside, these two don't understand anything about what they were talking about. The doctor and Fu Zei come out, where the doctor tells Fu Zei that one of his reports is missing, and when he brings it, he will ask him to go to the operation theater. When they both go to the operation theater, Jing Jixia asks Jian Bufan to pretend to be sick to see those reports. So he lies on the ground and starts pretending to be sick with strange expressions. The doctor starts examining him, and Jing Jixia secretly goes into their cabin and starts looking for Fu Zei's reports, and when she finds those reports, she finds out that Fu Zei has dual personality disorder, which is also called multiple personality disorder. When the doctor comes back to the cabin, Jing Jixia runs away from there, and while running, she bumps into Fu Zei. Fu Zei introduces Jing Jixia to the doctor. He tells them that she is his girlfriend. After the doctor leaves, Jing Jixia talks to Fu Zei about this. The one I met a year ago was Lin, and I fell in love with him. Fu Zei says yes to this and tells her, 20 years ago I had an accident in which I got this disease. Since then, my personality keeps changing every other day. Jing Jixia asks him, was it Fu Zei who tried to demolish my hotel? Fu Zei says, yes, that was my intention before, but now I have fallen in love with you. Then she asks, the one who was with me a year ago was Lin, and he was the one who solved my hotel's problem? Fu Zei replies in the affirmative. Jing Jixia gets very angry at this and says, I will never forgive you. Then the nurse comes there and asks Fu Zei to go for the operation, but Jing Jixia stops him, so Fu Zei says, if you are not mine, then I will not let you be Lin's either. Saying this, he goes inside the operation theater and Jing Jixia sits there crying. Then we are shown a scene from a month later, and in this 1 month, Jing Jixia has not come to meet Fu Zei even once. The doctor asks Fu Zei, does Jing Jixia know about your condition? He says, I don't know, but I don't care about it anymore. Then we are shown a girl named Bayer. She tells her dad that she wants to marry Fu Zei, and she has also spread fake dating news about her and Fu Zei. After that, we see Jing Jixia, who is cleaning all the toilets in the office to keep herself busy. Jian Bufan comes to see her and asks, are you okay or not? She tells him, I am not going to cry for him anymore. Jian Bufan doesn't believe her, so Jing Jixia shows him her phone and says, look, I have already blocked him. Saying this, she leaves, after which Jian Bufan says, if you still need to block him, it means you still care about him. After that, we see Fu Zei, whom Aishin is telling that the news of his and Bayer's dating has spread everywhere. Fu Zei says, I don't even know this girl and I have never even met her, so how did she get my photo? Then we are shown a scene from Fu Zei's house, where his dad had called him to meet a new business partner, who is Bayer. From Bayer's words, he understands that she was the one who had spread the fake rumors of his dating. He tells her, there is no need for a relationship in a business partnership. Here, Jian Bufan's dad also sees the news of Fu Zei's dating in a magazine, and he tells Jian Bufan, if their wedding takes place in our hotel, we will make a profit of the next 6 months from their one wedding. Jian Bufan gets very angry at this and says angrily, don't even take his name. If I ever meet him, I will break his arms and legs. He just broke up with my sister, and so soon he is in a relationship with another girl. Hearing this, Dad gets a big shock because he didn't know until now that Jing Jixia was in a relationship with Fu Zei. When Jing Jixia comes there, Dad asks her, did you find out about Fu Zei? She casually answers, yes, I know. This is his true identity. Then we see Fu Zei, who goes to meet the doctor. He tells him, look, Jing Jixia has blocked me. He says, if she is the only one who has blocked you, it means she is still thinking about you. On top of that, the rumors that are spreading about you will definitely make her angry, and that's why she must have blocked you. Fu Zei says, it's better that she is angry with me than ignoring me, but now I know what I have to do. The next day, he calls Bayer to meet him. Bayer tells him, I have an idea that will benefit both of us. And that plan was that they would spread fake rumors of their marriage for a publicity stunt, so that all the news channels, all the magazine headlines would be about them. And this would increase their company's share values. And later they would say that it was just a strategic partnership. Fu Zei also agrees to this because he wanted Jing Jixia to know about this soon and get angry with him. Then he brings Bayer to his house so that photographers can take their pictures. But Bayer starts asserting too much authority in his house, so he throws her out of his house. Then Fu Zei comes with Bayer to select a wedding dress, and we find out that their engagement is going to happen next week. Just then, Fu Zei sees the wedding dress that Jing Jixia liked there, and he gets it packed. Seeing this, Bayer thinks that Fuzei has selected this wedding dress for her, so she says thank you to him. But he clears her misunderstanding and tells her, this wedding dress is not for you. After a while, Jing Jixia also comes there, and she congratulates Fuzei for his upcoming engagement, and tells them, if you haven't decided on a place for your engagement yet, you can consider our hotel. Bayer says, then we will have our wedding reception in your hotel. Jing Jixia leaves from there. Seeing her leave, Fuzei also frees his hand from Bayer and goes after her. Then Bayer puts a condition to make Jing Jixia the personal in charge of her wedding, for which she agrees. But her uncle is very worried about her. Why Bayer is doing all this? But Jing Jixia says, don't you worry about it. They want to bother me, but I will show them how our hotel's best service is. Then Bayer comes to meet Jing Jixia. Jing Jixia tells her the wedding plan. Bayer says, the drinks at our engagement should be absolutely alcohol-free, and the mat on which I have to walk should not be slippery at all because I am pregnant. So I have to walk a little carefully and take care of myself. But this was a lie. She was just saying it to make Jing Jixia angry, but she doesn't get angry with her at all and says congratulations for her double happiness with a smile. Seeing that Jing Jixia didn't get angry at all, Bayer says, I was worried that you might feel bad because you were in a relationship with him before. She says with a laugh, no, it's not like that. Why would I feel bad? Bayer says, that's a good thing. I needed one more help from you. Jing Jixia asks, what kind of help do you need from me? Bayer says, can you bring us the rings at the time of our engagement? Hearing this, Jing Jixia says, I don't think we are that close that I should do this for you. Bayer says, you don't need to be close to me to bring me the ring. I needed a trusted person for this job, so I couldn't find anyone better than you for this job. Hearing this, Jing Jixia gets so angry that she grabs her head and starts hitting her on the table. But she was just thinking all this, from which we can guess how angry Jing Jixia was with her, but in reality she was just smiling at her words. Then Bayer comes and tells Fuzei, Jing Jixia has sent the engagement plan, in which Fuzei sees that their ring exchange ceremony is also going to happen at the time of the engagement. And seeing this, he asks Bayer, did Jing Jixia make this plan? Bayer says, yes, she made all this. And she also said, congratulations to you, one for our partnership and the other for our engagement. Hearing this, Fuzei starts thinking, does Jing Jixia really want me to marry another girl? And finally, the day of their engagement arrives, where Bayer and Fuzei's engagement ceremony begins. Bayer invites Jing Jixia in front of everyone and announces, this is my friend and at the most important moment of my life today, she will deliver our engagement rings. Jing Jixia gives her the ring, but when it's Fuzei's turn to give the ring, she is wishing that he doesn't take the ring, and Fuzei also wanted the same. But reluctantly, he takes that ring and also puts it on Bayer's finger. After the ring exchange, Jing Jixia starts to leave the stage, but Bayer holds her hand and stops her there and says, the credit for my engagement going so well today goes to Jing Jixia, because she is the personal in charge of this ceremony. Hearing all this, Fuzei gets very angry, but his dad handles him. Now Jing Jixia starts to leave again, but Bayer again holds her hand and stops her, and staring at her says, did I ask you to leave? That you are leaving? And announces in front of everyone, this friend of mine is still single, so all the gentlemen present here have a chance to make Jing Jixia their own. Just then, all the lights there go off, and in the dark, Fuzei holds Jing Jixia's hand and runs away with her from there. After they both leave from there, when the light comes back on and they are not there, everyone present at the party finds out that their engagement was just a publicity stunt. After this, Jing Jixia asks Fuzei to go back inside, but he says, I will not go there now, because you also know that all this was just for show. Then he says sorry to Jing Jixia and says, I tried a lot to forget you, but I am not able to forget you. But Jing Jixia angrily tells him, I don't want to see you now and you should never meet me again. Saying this, she gets very emotional and leaves from there. Now Fuzei's dad also gets very angry with him. Now the next day, Fuzei goes to Jing Jixia's office, but she is not in the office. So he calls her and tells her, I have apologized to you for my mistake, then why are you avoiding me? Jing Jixia says, I am avoiding you because I don't want to see you at all. Saying this, she cuts the call. Then Fuzei tells the lady who cleans Jing Jixia's cabin, I will clean this cabin. You can go from here. After a while, Jing Jixia comes to her cabin hiding. She sits on the chair, and just then she finds a note from Fuzei, on which sorry was written. Then when she comes to get her car to leave from there, Fuzei had also written on her parking spot, sorry Jing Jixia. And seeing all this everywhere, she gets very irritated and leaves her car there and starts walking home. But on the way, she sees that Fuzei had put up posters everywhere, and he was apologizing to Jing Jixia. She starts removing those posters, and just then she bumps into the same idol Yuxi. Yuxi was also removing those posters, because his posters were put up all over the city on top of his posters. Yuxi asks, is your Fuzei crazy that he is putting up these posters everywhere? Jing Jixia asks him, how are you here? He tells her, I have come here to tell you about your mom's upcoming wedding, that your future dad is my brother, and so now we are family. And if you ever need any kind of help now, then remember me. She thinks about this and says, I need your help right now. After this, she calls Fuzei to a restaurant where Fuzei tells her, I didn't want to marry Bayer. I was just seeing if you still think about me or not, and you must know that I only love you. Jixia says, yes, I have called you here to clear everything, but now I have a boyfriend. But he doesn't take this seriously and says, okay, if you have a boyfriend, then you call him here. Just then she calls Yuxi. When he comes there, Fuzei says, did you forget what you promised me? And you must know what I can do to you. Yuxi says, I don't care about that, I love Jixia. And they both start pretending to be a couple in front of him. Seeing all this, Fuzei tells Jixia, I can't believe that you can like a guy like him. Yuxi says, people's tastes change, and look at yourself. Seeing you also, I don't believe that she liked you at one time, but now she doesn't. Fuzei then asks Jixia, what did you like about him? Yuxi says, this is our personal matter which we don't want to tell you. Fuzei tries to talk to Jixia, so Yuxi says, if you want to talk about something, you can come to our wedding. We can talk properly there. But Fuzei was understanding that they were both just doing drama. That's why he goes and sits next to Jixia and tells her, if you had to bring an actor, you should have brought a good actor. He doesn't even know how to act properly. Jixia gets up from beside him and goes and sits next to Yuxi, and holding his hand says, do you believe it? He says, what happens just by holding hands? Then she signals Yuxi and asks him to kiss her, and both of them reluctantly move to kiss each other. But neither of them wanted to do so they were making strange faces. Fuzei was understanding this thing well, but he didn't want anyone else to kiss Jixia, even if it was just an act. That's why he gets up and starts leaving from there. Just then, Jixia tells him, I hope we never meet again, because I never want to see you again. After Fuzei leaves from there, Yuxi says, I think we overdid the drama a bit, and looking at Fuzei, it seems that he really loves you very much. Jixia says, whatever happens, I will not like to live with a lie. After this, she comes to a bar and she is drinking a lot. Fuzei is also watching her from a distance. After drinking, when Jixia is leaving, she falls. But just then, Fuzei comes and catches her, and he carries her on his back to her house. He lays her on the bed and is leaving when Jixia holds him and stops him and kisses him. She is still thinking of him as Lin. So Fuzei gets upset and leaves from there and goes to his house and starts drinking a lot and says to himself, I thought that Jixia had started to like me, but she still likes Lin. Now I have lost. Now you can come out. Here we find out that Fuzei had not yet received his treatment and he still had his Lin personality inside him. Now the next day, Lin goes to Jixia's house, but she doesn't believe that he is Lin. So she starts asking him questions related to the piano, because Lin liked to play the piano and he had a lot of knowledge about it. And so Lin answers all her questions correctly. This makes Jixia happy. Then Lin hugs her. Then he goes to make hangover soup for Jixia. Jixia tells him, I thought you would not come back. Lin tells her, Fuzei is not that bad. While cooking, Jixia calls him Fuzei, but Lin says, I am Lin, not Fuzei. She says, I can never recognize when you are Lin or when you are Fuzei. Lin says, yes, I know, because I have come in front of you many times before, but you could never recognize me. I like to cook, but Fuzei never sets foot in the kitchen. I like cats, and he is afraid of cats. When Lin was telling all this, Jixia was laughing, remembering Fuzei, because somewhere she liked him. Just then, Jixia gets a call from her mom, who says she cannot get married because their wedding ring is lost. Then, Jixia goes to meet her mom, and Lin also goes with her, where Jixia introduces Lin to her mom as a friend, which Lin does not like. She tells her mom, if I find your wedding ring, then you will get married, right? Then mom tells them, a cat ran away with their ring. Lin tells her, we will have to wait for the night because we can find that cat only at night. Then, at night, they both find the cat, and the ring is also found. Jixia gives that ring to her mom and persuades her to get married. Her mom says that she cannot get married right now because they feel that they are only thinking about themselves, not about their daughter. And they realized this last night when Jixia called and talked to them. Jixia tells them, yesterday I was very drunk so I got a little emotional, but now I want you to get married. Her mom agrees to this. The next day is her mom's wedding, where they find out that the musician who was supposed to come today cannot come for some reason. Hearing this, mom gets angry again. Just then, Lin tells Jixia, do you know what is the biggest difference between me and Fuzei? I know how to play the piano and he doesn't know anything about music. Saying this, he goes to play the piano, which everyone likes very much. And seeing him play the piano, Jixia remembers Fuzei. When Fuzei had played the piano for her, when she had a heart problem in a restaurant, once she was smiling thinking about him, when mom goes and asks her, is Lin just your friend? Just then, Jian Bufan comes and tells them, This is her ex-boyfriend whom she is unable to forget. After this, Mom's marriage takes place and she tosses the bouquet which Jing Jixia catches. Now Lin was standing with her, so everyone tells them to get married. Then at night, fireworks start, and everyone watches those fireworks. Lin brings Jing Jixia to the terrace and tells her, "A year ago, I wanted to dance with you, but I didn't get a chance then. But now I should get this chance." Just then, Jing Jixia tells him that I have to say something to you. Lin says, "Yes, I also have to say something to you." Lin says to her, "I love you." But there was no happiness on Jing Jixia's face, and she says, "We should end everything right here," and says, "Now I know how you two are different from each other. I have spent time with both of you, but I can't tell which one of you I like. And tomorrow when I see this face of yours, I won't know by what name to call you." Lin says, "If you like me, then I don't care what name you call me." Jing Jixia says, "I have always tried to convince myself that Fu Ziyi is a bad boy who has always tried to spoil my relationship. And he also tried to kill you. But you are alive, and you have come back too. And now I am realizing that he is not that bad. You had many chances to tell me the truth, but you kept this matter a secret." Lin tries to explain to her that he wanted to tell her, but Jing Jixia says, "Whether it's Fu Ziyi or Lin, I don't trust either of you, because I don't want any confusion in the future, so we will just be good friends." Saying this, she leaves from there. Then we see Lin, who is very sad. He says to Fu Ziyi, "She doesn't like me either, and she doesn't like you either. I don't understand what to do, because I didn't want to lose her, but I have to make her understand that no matter what happens in the future, I will always be with you." Then we see Jing Jixia, who was thinking about Lin's proposal. Just then her mom comes there and they both sit down to drink. Then Mom asks Jing Jixia about Lin, so she tells her mom their whole story, and also tells her about his dual personality. Mom tells her to stay away from Fu Ziyi, and also deposit some money in her account. The next day, Fu Ziyi's dad calls Jing Jixia to meet him, and he gives Jing Jixia some money and tells her, "Stay away from Fu Ziyi." But Jing Jixia herself puts a bag full of money in front of them and says, "In exchange for this money, you should ask Fu Ziyi to leave my hotel." Her dad doesn't understand anything, so Jing Jixia explains it to them properly. "I want to buy back my hotel's shares with this money, which Fu Ziyi had fraudulently bought from me." Dad gets very happy at this because he had thought that Jing Jixia would ask him for money, but she was giving him money herself, and she would also leave Fu Ziyi. Just then Fu Ziyi also comes there. Dad tells him that, "I asked Jing Jixia to leave you," and she agreed. He sees the money on the table and thinks that maybe Jing Jixia has agreed to leave him in exchange for this money. So without thinking, he throws that bag of money into the pool. Jing Jixia tries to pick up the money, so he catches her and says, "Until I leave you, this money cannot be yours." She tries to tell Fu Ziyi, "All this money is mine and I was the one who brought it here." But he was not listening to her at all. Just then his dad tells him everything. When Fu Ziyi understands everything, he says, "I have thrown the money in the pool, so I will be the one to pick it up." Saying this, he jumps into the pool and collects all the money and brings it. He is about to hand over the bag of money to Jing Jixia when she also accidentally falls into the pool. After this, Jing Jixia starts drying the money with a hairdryer. Seeing this, Fu Ziyi starts drying her hair with a hairdryer because she got wet after falling into the pool. Seeing this, Jing Jixia says, "If you have so much free time, then you should dry the most important thing, this money." He says, "The most important thing for me is you." Hearing this, Jing Jixia also feels good. After drying, she goes to give all the money to Dad. Just then, a lady comes and tells them that Fu Ziyi's dad has fainted. They both run to him, where they find out from the doctor that he has high blood pressure. Then Fu Ziyi tells his dad to take care of himself. Jing Jixia tells Fu Ziyi, "In such a situation, you should stay here and take care of him." He tells her, "If I stay here, his condition will get worse because he doesn't like to see me." Then Fu Ziyi gives Jing Jixia a photo album and says that you should give this to my dad. That album had photos of all his dad's friends, and some information was also written about them. Fu Ziyi had pasted those photos here and there. So Jing Jixia says, "We will have to arrange the photos properly, because he won't understand anything like this." Then she pastes those photos properly and writes about their friends in detail. The next day, Dad is able to meet his friend well because of the photo album. Then the next day, he comes to return Jing Jixia's shares to her. Jing Jixia asks him, "You didn't want to give these shares, then why are you doing this?" Fu Ziyi tells her, "If it was about giving it to someone else, I would not have given these shares at all. But here it is about you, and I can give you everything." Then he says sorry to her. Jing Jixia says, "I can forgive you in exchange for these shares." He says, "Then what is our relationship now?" She says, "Now we are shareholders." Fu Ziyi says, "I want a closer relationship." Jing Jixia says, "Then we can be friends." Fu Ziyi does not agree to this either, so Jing Jixia says, "Then what do you want to become?" He says, "I haven't thought about it yet. I will think and tell you." Then he invites her for dinner tomorrow. In the next scene, we find out that Fu Zei had created his Lin personality in the memory of his brother Jilin, who was his uncle's son, and the uncle thought that Jilin's life was lost because of Fu Zei, and that's why he also hates Fu Zei. The next morning, when Fu Zei wakes up, he has Lin's personality and he can't even see Fu Zei. Here, Jing Jixia is waiting for Fu Zei in the restaurant. After a while, Lin comes to her and tells her Fu Zei has disappeared somewhere and he is not coming back. She asks him about Fu Zei, so Lin says, yesterday was Jilin's death anniversary. He went to his grave, and after coming from there, he did not come out. Now Jing Jixia catches his doctor to know about Fu Zei and tries to ask about Fu Zei by threatening them. So they tell her about the accident of Jilin that happened 20 years ago and also tell her that Jilin is Lin. On the other hand, Lin's condition was getting worse because he didn't know anything about business, and an important press conference was also going to be held. The next day, Bayer reaches his office and asks him to apologize. Otherwise, he will have to give Bayer 500 million yuan as compensation. Lin agrees to give him 500 million yuan because if he doesn't do so, Bayer could sue him because some of his company's designs had copyrights. Then we see that Jing Jixia had asked Lin to do so because she says if Fu Zei were here, he would have done the same. Then they both open Fu Zei's laptop and try to find some clue, but they didn't even know the password of the laptop. Lin says, now we have no way out. Now only Fu Zei can get us out of this trouble. The scene cuts, and the next day we see Lin coming to the office where he was not behaving like Lin at all. Here, Jing Jixia had also come, and Bayer had also arrived. Lin shows Bayer the copyrights of all her designs, the owner of which was someone else. He also tells her, all your designs are copied from someone else, and one of the people whose designs were copied was a friend of mine, and he is also going to sue Bayer for this, but he will not do it on only one condition. Bayer has to apologize. Bayer, who wanted to make Fu Zei apologize, apologizes herself, and Lin records her video and sends it to his friend. Bayer didn't want to get sued, so she apologizes and leaves from there. Then we are shown a flashback scene from which we find out that Jing Jixia had found the password of Fu Zei's laptop, and she had got all of Bayer's information from the laptop. And after this, Jing Jixia had also trained Lin to behave like Fu Zei, and in this way they both had solved this problem. After this, Lin goes to meet Fu Zei's doctor and tells him Fu Zei has not come out for a long time. Hearing this, the doctor tells him if the real personality of the body does not come out, it can cause a lot of damage to the body. The doctor tells him to get treatment, because until Lin is gone forever, Fu Zei will not come. Lin says, I need some time to think about this. After this, he comes out of his clinic. After that, the doctor also tells Jing Jixia about this and says that Fu Zei's personality has gone into a very deep sleep, which can cause a lot of damage to his body. And now, two personalities cannot remain in his body. This means that now only one of Lin and Fu Zei can survive. The doctor asks Jing Jixia to convince Lin for treatment, and Lin, who is standing outside, also hears their conversation and says to himself, now nobody wants to see me here. After that, we see Fu Zei's uncle, who had come to meet his dad, and he shows them Fu Zei's medical report and says, if I show this report to the shareholders, Fu Zei will never get his position, which you want to put him in, and then says, my son's life was lost because of your son, so I will not spare him so easily. Hearing his words, Dad gets angry with him, and he is shouting at them when he has an attack. But instead of giving them their medicine, the uncle throws that medicine in the pool, due to which his condition worsens a lot. The doctor tells Lin that he may never regain consciousness now. Lin starts to consider himself responsible for all this. Just then his eyes fall on his dad's fist, and this scene is cut there. After that, Jing Jixia comes to meet Lin, and Lin tells her, you don't need to worry, I will give this body back to Fu Zei, because I don't want to come between the love of you two, and I can clearly see your love for Fu Zei in your eyes. Then here Jing Jixia comes to know that Lin has always had a wish to go on stage and play the piano. So Jing Jixia takes him to the auditorium, where Lin plays the piano for her. Then he drops Jing Jixia at her house and says, tomorrow you are going to meet Fu Zei. When Lin is leaving from there, he meets his uncle, and the uncle calls him Jilin. He asks them, what are you doing here? The uncle says, I know that Fu Zei is sick, and you are his alternate personality. Then he asks him to sit in the car with him and gives him an offer that they have a doctor abroad. By meeting him, they will both kill Fu Zei's personality. After this, Lin can enjoy his life. But Lin knew that his uncle was doing all this for his own greed. Lin comes home, and there we are, shown a flashback scene, where Lin had found a button of his uncle from his dad's fist. Then Lin gets very angry and he angrily calls Fu Zei and says, how long will you hide like this? Someone is after your family and career. Just then, we are shown Fu Zei's personality. The next day, Jing Jixia comes to meet him, They both sit and talk for a while, and then she falls asleep while sitting there. Lin knew that she had come here only to see if Fu Zhe's personality had returned or not. Then he kisses her, and he himself falls asleep there. When Jing Jixia comes home, some people kidnap her, and her kidnapping was done by her uncle. Lin forbids them from doing so, but they don't listen and say, "Keep her here." Then Lin brings food for her, but Jing Jixia throws the food away and says, "Didn't you get angry with me because I threw all this away?" Lin says, "I didn't get angry with you at all because I like you." Jing Jixia says, "I only like Fu Zhe." So Lin says, "You know how arrogant and selfish he is? He doesn't deserve your love." Jing Jixia says, "No one else deserves me except him. He doesn't know how to cook, but he cooked for me. He did everything that he couldn't do, and he even put his career in danger for me. So I have no reason not to love him. So I only love Fu Zhe and will always love him." Lin should have been sad about this, but he was happy. He takes out the recorder from his pocket and asks Jing Jixia to repeat what she just said. She also repeats her words again, and Lin records everything in that recorder. He goes out very upset, but just then he sits near the door and was very happy listening to that recorder. After this, he comes to his uncle and gives them the shares, and as they had promised, they send him abroad for his treatment. And then they go to their son Jilin's grave, where we find out that the uncle had ordered the doctor to kill Lin during his treatment because he wanted to take revenge for his son's death by killing him. Now the next day, the news of Fu Zhe's death spreads in the company, and the uncle also starts pretending to be sad to gain sympathy because after Fu Zhe and his dad left, he was going to be elected president. But still, some people had doubts about Fu Zhe's sudden death, so the uncle shows everyone Fu Zhe's fake report. The uncle was about to get the sympathy of all the shareholders when Fu Zhe enters there. Seeing him, everyone is shocked. He comes there and makes everyone listen to a recording, which was a conversation between the uncle and his secretary. The uncle had ordered to kill Fu Zhe during his treatment. The uncle says, "All this is fake. They did not do anything like this." Just then we are shown a flashback scene that Aishin had gifted them a watch. There was a recorder in it, and that's why he had this proof today. Just then, the uncle finds out that the one he had been thinking was Lin was actually Fu Zhe. Then Fu Zhe also shows all the shareholders that recording when his dad had an attack, and the uncle had thrown his medicine in the pool. Now everyone starts questioning the uncle. Here, Jing Jixia, remembering the burnt food brought by Lin and some of his antics, understands that the one who was with her now was not Lin, but Fu Zhe. She somehow get out of there, and seeing the bad state of the kitchen, understands that the one who cooked for her was Fu Zhe. She tries to break the door and get out of there, but then Jian Bufan comes and opens the door, and she runs from there to meet Fu Zhe. Here, the police come to arrest the uncle on charges of murder, but the uncle escapes from there, and the police are after him. He runs to the parking area. Jing Jixia is also in the parking area. The uncle takes a car and starts running away from there. Just then, Fu Zhe sees Jing Jixia. They are both happy to see each other. Just then, the uncle was driving his car towards Jing Jixia to kill her, and Fu Zhe runs towards her to save her. And this scene is cut right here. And then we see Fu Zhe lying on the ground covered in blood. Jing Jixia was sitting next to him and was crying and asking him to get up. But the one in her lap was the Lin personality, and the Fu Zhe personality was standing in front of her outside. It is shown in the flashback that when Fu Zhe was running to save Jing Jixia, Lin came into his body, and while saving her, it was Lin who had an accident today. A flashback scene shown in which some people kidnap Jilin and Fu Zhe and take them away, but they both escape from those goons and run away from there, but those people see them and start chasing them. Lin saves Fu Zhe and puts him in truck, but he has accident right there and dies. He had been living with the guilt of his brother's death for 20 years. That's why he had created the personality of Lin within himself, who always stayed with him, helped him, and saved him from every danger. But today Lin was gone forever. Then Fu Zhe regains consciousness in Jing Jixia's lap, and the police arrest the uncle and take him away. They take Fu Zhe to the hospital for his treatment, and after treatment, he gets well. After that, he invites Jing Jixia for dinner. Jing Jixia was thinking that maybe he was going to propose to her for marriage today. So when she picks up the wine, she starts looking at it closely to see if there is a wedding ring in it, but there was nothing in it. Then she starts looking for the ring in the food she had ordered, but there was nothing there. And Fu Zhe sitting in front of her was enjoying watching her. Just then all the people who had come there start clapping. Jing Jixia is very surprised to see all this because all this was Fu Zhe's plan. And then he takes out a ring and proposes to Jing Jixia for marriage in front of everyone, and she also says yes to him and kisses him. In the last scene, their wedding day comes, where Fu Zhe asks, "Please play some special music." But they accidentally play the recording of Jing Jixia's confession. Hearing which everyone starts laughing, they both ask them to stop that recording, but it was not stopping. And then, Jing Jixia's confession becomes their wedding song. Then with this, they get married, and this drama has a happy ending.